Well, good afternoon, everybody. Today we have with us Kimberly Rossetti, who is the Vice President of Economic Development at Triad, Tri-County Economic Development Corporation. So Kimberly, thanks for being with me today.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, so I get to be maybe hopefully one of the first people to congratulate you on a one day, or tomorrow is going to be the 1 year anniversary of being with Triad.
That's right.
And what a year it's been.
Definitely. It's been a fun year.
In your new role in this organization, wow, the amazing things that have been going on at Triad this past year. But before we could do that, maybe you could let everyone know a little bit about yourself and where you came from, and what is your job as Vice President of Economic Development? What does that encompass?
Great. No, happy to. So yes, tomorrow's my 1 year anniversary at Triad. So very excited to be on the team. And it has definitely been a whirlwind year, getting to know a new region, and then obviously coming into this health crisis. But what we've been doing as a team to stay on course and help our companies has been amazing. But I actually relocated from Lexington, Kentucky this time last year. I was with the Economic Development Company there for 15 years. So worked on a variety of different projects, from new locations to existing businesses and retention projects. Also worked on the marketing of the region and worked with our regional partners as well.
Well, we're very fortunate to have you, and I know Lexington, it's their loss but our gain, and you're a huge part of the team now. And so now that we're dealing with this pandemic, and the normal thought would be maybe that, wow, economic development must be shut down. But tell us what the market looks like and what projects look like in terms of those that are reaching out to you at Triad.
It's been very interesting. You know, I think when this all started, we thought we would see a huge downturn in projects, and we've actually seen the reverse. So we've seen an increase in our project activity. We've also seen an increase in the quality of projects. So, you know, like any type of, process, there's always projects out there that are maybe kicking the tires, but that has kind of gone away during this time. So really we're seeing projects that are truly interested in finding a new location or expanding. So the quality of the projects has definitely gone up. But we know we continue to see a lot of manufacturing projects. We do see distribution and logistics, and we've also seen a good steady mix of office projects too, considering that, you know, I would say most office projects in larger cities are probably on the decline.
And what do you attribute that to? Distribution kind of makes sense with the booming airport still with Amazon and DHL, et cetera. But what do you think that is behind this stability, I guess?
Well, I think it's a couple things. One, being part of a metro of Cincinnati, but then also being in a little bit smaller region outside of that. So you have all of the amenities of being closer to a metro, yet you are able to, access some of the, smaller community type of quality of life in this area. But you're also, we always talk about location, location, location. You're on two major interstates. We have, two air hubs, an international airport, the riverways, so rail. So, just in terms of logistics, for manufacturing and distribution, it's a very great location for that. But then on the office side, there's a lot of really cool developments that are happening. There's a lot of walkability in some areas and neat eclectic restaurants, but you don't have all of the headaches of being in a bigger city. And I think people are going to feel a little bit safer in more of a mid-sized city at this point.
So are you seeing, in terms of the two areas that are typical for economic development, would be one for expansion and then one for attraction, but you're doing a lot more to also to serve those, to look at expansion. Maybe you can speak to that a bit.
Yeah.
What kind of businesses are wanting to expand even in these unique economic times?
So when I started last year, Lee Karoom, our president and CEO, we really wanted to put a renewed focus on business retention and expansion. So we made that our number one priority as we were building the team and to get that program off the ground. Triad had in the past definitely met with our existing businesses, but we really wanted to, put a laser sharp focus on it. So we hired a business retention expansion manager who actively pre-COVID goes out and meets with our companies, and it now has gone to everything virtual. But our goal is to meet with 200 of our companies this year, and we're on track. We're around 115 right now in August, so feel really good about that number. But it's not just so much about the number, but the quality of the types of meetings that we're having and uncovering all these different investment opportunities that the companies have been doing, job growth, training, all these types of things that really show the economic vitality of the region.
Oh, great. One of the things that's close to my heart is the sometimes perception is different than reality of economic development. We've got this great region, a lot of attributes, but one of the things that I've often am asked is that we've got tons of property, and if anybody wants to come and build a business, they can do it tomorrow. I don't know that that's correct, right? There's a reality there that's different than that perception. Maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Sure. So that is definitely, a story that we have to continue to tell. And we're actually working on a formal presentation right now as a team to talk about land use in the region and how important it is, but what are some of our strengths, but then what are some of the challenges? And as you said, lots of times people say, oh, I see all this land, there's plenty to develop, but, you have to have certain factors in to be able to develop a site. So it has to, be relatively flat, and it has to be zoned correctly, and it has to have the infrastructure in place. And, a lot of people say, well, you can plan for those things, but once you have a client who is ready to expand or relocate, they don't have time to go through that process. So they need sites and buildings that are basically shovel ready, move-in ready, can just get going as soon as they can. And if they have to go through a long time frame of trying to change policies or zoning, it's just going to be a lot more difficult, and they're able to find that in other locations. So it's, you look at total acreage, and as you start to go down those filters that site selection consultants do, the opportunities definitely get smaller.
So we've got some work ahead of us to make sure that we continue to make sure that we're available and competitive with other parts of the country, especially, right? That's a great point. Well, I know that one of the things that you've got a unique perspective coming from another area, but still in the Commonwealth. Is there any takeaway that you'd like to share with the community about something we've either not been aware of in Northern Kentucky, or maybe something we take for granted possibly that you can now share with us?
Well, it's interesting if Lexington. Lexington is a merged city and county government. So there's basically one entity that, you go through for all your different government type of things that you may need. And so being up here, there are obviously a lot more cities and jurisdictions. And I have been pleasantly surprised at the collaboration and regionalism between all of the different cities and the counties, and how closely everybody works together, especially with the Cincinnati area. And so that has been very, very interesting to me. But I would say what I take away from Lexington was they were also a very regional city, so worked closely with all of the surrounding counties. And one thing that I've seen there, and that I was hoping would be here, and it is that everybody really wants to have a part and wants to make a difference in their community, and so everybody is trying to do their best in terms of contributing to projects. And one of my favorite sayings, I'm not going to get it exactly right, but it's amazing what you can do if nobody cares who takes credit. So it's always very uplifting to see that when we're working on projects. I've definitely seen that here.
Well, that's well said. And to wrap up, I've got to tell you, I've got to point out the artwork behind you there.
Yes.
That is, if anybody can't tell, that's one of the 3 posters in Triad for pictures that's Kenton County, and a lot of the landmarks that you have there. So
yeah. This is artwork, and so I'm in the Kenton County conference room today.
Very good. Well, of course, there's no other place to be, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, Kimberly, thanks so much for your time. And again, congratulations on your 1-year anniversary, and thanks for all the work you're doing there at Triad. And we're very glad you're now making Northern Kentucky your home. So.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You bet.